All right, so we've got the user accounts now. The thing we need to do is configure it. Like I said, this is new to the class, so we're going to be trying out a little bit of code here for the first time. I keep this in the lib folder as well, just a UA config.js. UA stands for user accounts. And let's see, I grabbed some code earlier. Where did I put that? Okay. So this is a big block of code, so rather than type it, I'm just going to paste it in. And we'll start at the top. Actually, I'm curious. Let's look at the docs. Maybe it's changed. It used to be called accounts template, and then it got renamed to user accounts. So if we go to core, go to the guide. There is like, yeah, see, it's still account templates. I think at some point it'll probably change to user accounts .configure. But basically, what we're saying right here is on line 1, we want to tell it to give us a sign-in route, and then on line 2, we're setting up a huge configure block, and we're setting a bunch of options. And I think a lot of these are kind of the default, but basically, like, we're saying we want people to confirm their password when they sign up. We probably don't want that. We do want them to be able to change their password. We don't want to forbid client account creation. So you could say, like, I don't want to let people create accounts from the client, and then you'd have to manually add users from the server. So if it's like a small private app, you might turn that option on. Send verification emails. If you want people to verify their emails, that would be something that you turn on. So, I mean, there's a ton of stuff here that you can completely configure. And even you can get down into the text and what the buttons say. And, you know, if you had the Meteor developer OAuth, then it would use the FA Rocket from Font Awesome to kind of make that work. The major thing here is once someone logs in, the home route path will be, slash. So I think this all looks right. And then the key to get this working is we'll add the @nav buttons, I believe it's called. Which isn't super well documented either, but it kind of gives you that whole sign in, sign out link. Let me just verify that's the right call. And that'll go in our header. So here with the compose, probably next to that we can add something. Yeah. All right. Bear with me here. I'm just checking the docs. Okay. So it's @nav button. So again, it's just a template that we're going to render in @nav button. Let's see what that gives us. So we should see something up here when it reloads. Oops. Got a problem somewhere. Oh, we got to include some way for people to log in. So we have to do like meteor add accounts password as well. And there are a ton of options as well. They give you a lot of OAuth stuff that you can work with right out of the box. So you could do Facebook or Twitter or Google Plus, GitHub, Meteor developer account. They have their own OAuth set up if you want it. All right, refresh again. Here we go. We're getting a sign in button, but I don't think that's quite how we want it to look. We gotta wrap it in the li tag. There we go. And so when we click sign in, you can see we get, we've got a route up top. I went to a sign in page, and we need to put a little bit of like some kind of global push on it, basically. But you get the login form here. There's a register link, and now that's working, so we can actually sign up. And now I'm signed in, and you can see now there's a sign out button right there. And you can replicate all this yourself if you wanted to, but it's pretty, yeah.
Currently, our route is localhost/signin. When we deploy it to Meteor, for example, it'll be our app.meteor.com.
Correct.
/signin.
Right.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep. All right. So the other thing I'd like to figure out is how to do like extra sign up fields, because I was doing that with the accounts entry. So we'll look at their docs maybe. And I know they've got a way to do it. So basically what we want to do is ask them, like, we want an email and we want a username and we want like a full name that'll get put into the profile. So profile.
I think it's the account templates add field.
Yeah, there we go. And there's probably an option as well to say username and password. So we'll add this one. There we go. So basically it should add a name, should be a text box. The display name should be name. It's going to run a function for validation. It looks like it's checking to make sure it's not full name. Making sure they put something in. So let's sign out and we'll go back to the sign in page. Register. Yeah, now we're getting like the optional name field here. And then see if we can find the config option for yeah, it's in here a lot. Lowercase username. Huh. Log in with username or email. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Yeah, not a huge fan of that actually. We'll just add. We'll add a username for now. See what that looks like. So need to change this guy to be an array. Get a comma going on. Oops. Paste the other block in. What is it complaining about? Oh, we gotta close our array. There we go. Missing key ID. Huh. We got ID on both these guys. Oh, there's a comma there. I think that's what's messing it up. And I do want this to be required. True. See if that fixes it. No, still not liking it. Need to say add fields. I didn't notice that's actually a separate call if you want to pass multiple fields. Oh, there we go. Look at that. It's picking up username or email automatically for us now. Awesome. It does look like it's ordering based on how we put them in, so my thought would be to move this up. Put the comma there, line 63. Ditch the comma. Should reload, register. There we go. So I tend to use RoboMongo. If you're not familiar with it, if you're on a Mac, it's a great little app that you can install. It's open sourced. And it just connects to a local Mongo database. And I just want to go into the Meteor collections, the user, and I'm going to blow away this account because it's missing some data. So we'll just get rid of it. And then we can sign up again. Oh, I see. That's interesting. It will only allow full name. So we probably don't care about that validation right now. There we go. All right. And so now we've kind of got the full user account experience the way we want it. Any questions about that?
The file that you're just editing there, that we were configuring.
Mm-hmm.
Where did that come from again? I think I can't really tell. Couldn't really tell from where you were.
Oh, okay. I think at some point I had taken it just straight out of the guide.
Okay.
I'd taken not that guy, somewhere way up above here. He's kind of got like a default one. Yeah, there it is.
Got it. Okay, I thought you brought it from somewhere, but
Yeah.
not sure.
Yeah, I had another project, so I just kind of copied and pasted it out of there. But this is where it ultimately came from. And I removed some of this stuff because, like, we're not doing any hooks right now, but you can do different things on, like, log out or sign up or any of that kind of stuff. So it's really, really configurable. And the great thing I think about this that I didn't mention, we installed user accounts Bootstrap, but like we're using Bootstrap because I'm familiar with it and that's what I told the designer to use. But they've got Materialize, they've got like every freaking imaginable template system, like Ionic or completely unstyled if you want a foundation. They've got Materialize, they just don't have what it looks like, Polymer, Ratchet, like all of them basically. They're all right here, Semantic UI. So I'd highly recommend it. And basically it installs a core user accounts package, which is what we were configuring. But it works the same across all these different HTML kind of frameworks, style frameworks.
What's there's like the main accounts package that's kind of part of Meteor, and then there's this, which is like an add-on, but it's kind of like the default standard or the de facto. Is there something weird there? Is this becoming what everyone's using now, the user accounts?
Well, so I think the problem is if you install, so you're talking about like accounts base.
Like in Meteor, like if you go to the Meteor docs, there's user accounts calls and.
Yeah, let's go look at those docs real quick. Accounts. Yeah, so like all this stuff comes along. When you install accounts base, you get a lot of this account stuff automatically. And then when you install accounts password, you get all these other kind of API calls as well for, creating users and emailing, like verifying their email and all that kind of stuff. Like all this comes with the accounts password. And so the great thing is because they've built this accounts base, user accounts core is built on top of accounts base. So it's all still that core code that Meteor wrote. And when Meteor makes changes, you kind of know that you're going to get those for free with user accounts core, which is a good thing. But the reason user accounts exist in the first place and accounts entry existed in the first place is because, we build applications and we want to be able to customize the look and feel. And I think that if you install accounts UI, which is the core UI for account login stuff from Meteor, it's pretty crappy, honestly. It's basic. It's got like a drop down with a little modal overlay. It's very, very hard to control from CSS. And so I started accounts entry because our designer like hated that. He thought it was horrible and hard to configure. And so we made accounts entry and we decided like, let's hook Iron Router into it. And, we can have sign-in routes and that kind of thing, which is better for emails. If you look at how like accounts UI works with the verification emails, it's really weird. Like they're passing stuff on the URL to try to get it to work right. Like that just seems silly to me. We have these notions of URLs for a reason. So, and then on top of that, accounts template, which is now user accounts, came out of like, accounts entry looks great, but it's only for Bootstrap. How do we get something like this for all the frameworks? And so Luca was way more ambitious than I was and decided to create this whole organization that he's managing now. And he's done a great job with it. So does that kind of answer that question?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
It's building on top of the base. It's not a separate piece.
Correct.
Cool. Thank you.
Sure. All right. So we got that done. And you can see here, like I'm going through the Meteor versions, like it's definitely adding accounts base and accounts password as part of the dependencies that it has. It's curious. It added local storage too. I wonder why it did that. Then we added the nav button to get that working. And then we added the config. So we'll push that up. And now we'll get into the meat of building an application. Where are my issues? So number 4, we're actually going to build a feature now. As a tweeter, I want to be able to post tweets so that I can share what I'm doing right now. And so the goal here is to be able to hook up this compose new tweets, have it go into the database, be saved, and then eventually we'll make it be shown over here as a tweet. So we'll be kind of going through the entire gamut of building, a data flow.